Hello everyone, welcome to this demo of ArivuThunai, which is an app that we have developed for assisting students in preparing for different kinds of examinations. The examinations could include their college or school examinations as well as the competitive examinations. So there are two main ways in which the materials could be sourced into this app. One is by capturing the live lectures and the other is by uploading materials into the app. So let's take a look at the live lecture module first. So as you could see, the live lecture capturing module is not just a recording uh, thing. It basically, while recording, it generates the transcriptions of the audio as well as generates the translations into a language that you understand. So for example, this one, the interface currently is set up for producing transcriptions in English and translations in Hindi. Since I'm recording, unfortunately I cannot show the way it works, but essentially it shows the subtitles style transcriptions and their translations in the two boxes that you could access, and the audio ultimately gets saved along with the transcriptions and translations. Now for generating these transcriptions and translations, we generally use our own in-house models, or if for some languages there are models that we don't have but they are available from other sources, for example through platforms such as Hugging Face or Bhashini, then we use those models as well. The other way of uploading materials is using this materials tab in the modules sections of the app. So you could add existing YouTube data, or you could upload uh, any kind of audio, video, images, documents, PDFs, as well as the previous year or sample question papers, which will help the app in suggesting or preparing questions that could be useful for preparing for the examinations. Now let's move through each of some of these tabs at least, which are most relevant uh, for this demo. So the first one is the Engage tab. The Engage tab basically shows two kinds of things. One is the content itself, the primary content, and then along with that you could ask AI to do a few things. For example, it could show you a breakdown of the topics that are covered in this material that is active currently, and then you could also possibly, so the translation engine, so there is this focus on providing multilingual support to the students, so the translation engine has been integrated in all the different places. So even though this topic breakdown is even though the lecture is in English, the topic breakdown is in English, but the if the student is not comfortable in English, they could translate all of this into a language that they are comfortable in. So here you could see a couple of languages, but this depends on how the project is set up. So if you have if you while setting up the project, if you select your language as so I'll just show an interface for how to set up the project. So you fill up all of this form, but at the end you also specify the set of languages that you would be using. So for example, for this project we have English and Hindi as a set of languages, but you could have more languages, and that will show up in the translation window here. So one could generate the translation, for example in Hindi, using one of the models that's available, and you get the translation there. Now let's move to the next tab, which is the practice tab. Now this is the main tab, and this is where we think a lot of our focus is to give different kinds of practice elements to students, especially when they're preparing for examinations. For example, if you look at something like quick recall, there's a gamified version of recalling different kinds of concepts that has been covered in the app. So for example, it generates 10 questions and it shows you the question. So what's the primary focus of the module, and then you think of an answer, right? Then you ask it to show the answer. You get the answer. Now whether you got it right or not, you mark it yourself. So for example, if you got it incorrect, you could mark it incorrect. Then the next questions comes, and this basically helps you in recalling the content of the uh, of the uh, of the material that you have covered. There are similarly other, so Jeopardy is also another gamified thing. Then we have more traditional things such as quizzes, so where 10 different MCQ questions are generated, and you could just go through those questions. So every time you click on quizzes, there are different set of questions that has been generated, and you could just go through those questions and mark those and see how well you're doing with this module. So the practice module is where all those different preparatory aspects of the app comes into the picture. We are adding uh, uh, more different kinds of practice elements here in this, and also we are training our own language models that could generate better practice questions, especially practice questions which are aimed at different specialized examinations that uh, one could one would probably appear in. So as of now, if you have uploaded your previous year questions, the system takes into consideration those questions and generates these practice sets accordingly. However, uh, in general, we are adding more questions and question banks. We are sourcing those questions bank and training our model on those questions banks for different kinds of context, different kinds of setup. For example, say UPSC examinations, or for engineering examinations. So different kinds of examinations and different kinds of context, different kinds of subjects, they are being our models are being trained on, so that they could generate more relevant questions based on the materials that have been given in this. So this is our main module. These are where all our focus is on, and we are currently able to generate all of these different kinds of practice sets for students to prepare on, along with, of course, going through the materials themselves, the primary materials, and the different kinds of add-ons that the AI models could provide on top of that. And of course, all of this is aimed for a multilingual India, in the sense that we are trying to provide this in at least 22 scheduled languages, but our goal is ultimately to provide this in more languages. So for example, we are working on languages like Toto, Chokri, and Irula for providing ASR systems and machine translation systems. So all of these materials could be translated into those languages as well over a period of time. That's it. Thank you very much for your attention.